Moving on, diabetes management app BeatO has raised $33 million in its Series B round of funding, led by impact investor Lightrock India. Now, the digital care platform also saw participation from its existing investors, including healthcare-focused investor HealthQuad and e-commerce major Flipkart, among others. Now, through a mobile app, the startup offers a comprehensive diabetes management and care platform via its glucose monitoring solutions. Joining us now to discuss this further is Gautam Chopra, the co-founder and CEO of BeatO. Gautam, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. India is set to overtake China as the diabetes capital of the world, with over 200 million Indians at risk from it. Now, you specialize in managing diabetes. So what's the biggest problem in India, and how are you helping curb this?
Thank you for having me on your show. The problem which you said, it's not just the sheer volume of people with diabetes in India. It's also the fact that almost 80% of them who are diagnosed with diabetes unfortunately have uncontrolled sugar levels. And when you start really drilling down, it really boils down to two things. One is the lack of access. So when you look at the demographic of India, only just for 95% of the people actually live in tier 2 cities and beyond. And there you just have about 5% of the doctors living. And imagine if you're in a small town, let's say in Ajmer in Rajasthan, just to see a diabetes specialist, you would have to go all the way to Jaipur. And because there is this inertia, people, if they have to go to Jaipur, they'll perhaps, lose a day's work, perhaps, the opportunity cost. There's always this inertia and procrastination, which results in perhaps these symptoms becoming, quite drastic by the time actually people start to take an action. The second key problem is, of course, of affordability, because India is predominantly an out-of-pocket market. And every expense that a person, who's diabetic actually incurs is through their own pocket. Healthcare insurance hardly covers for any hospitalization. So hence, because of these two problems, we see these uncontrolled sugar levels, spread across the diabetic population. And this is where exactly BeatO comes in, through our digital-first, full-stack digital care ecosystem that cuts across different segments of people with diabetes.
Right.
Caters to every need of theirs. So starting with the entire continuum of care, starting with the very essential use case of monitoring, where we bring in our cost-effective glucometers that simply plug into your phone. These are connected devices where people can start monitoring the sugar levels.
Right. So,
and as the data gets populated, we are actually able to drive positive health outcomes and take them to the other end of the spectrum, where we provide for a full-blown virtual diabetes
absolutely.
clinic.
And we're going to discuss that in further. So like you said, lack of awareness and affordability are two of the key things here. You've raised $33 million. If you could quickly tell us, how do you plan to use these funds? Where are you going to spend the money?
Yeah, so I think first it's about scaling our comprehensive care programs, which comprise the doctor, the entire nutritionist, the coaches, monitoring, medicines, and we want to take this to the length and breadth of the country.
Right.
Second is we want to continue to invest in our product and technology by making it even more engaging and clinically driven. And lastly, we have already a fantastic leadership team, but we want to strengthen it further and invest in our team to deliver on our promise to make BeatO a household name.
Right. So you've got three key areas there that you're going to spend your money on. Take us through some of the solutions you already have available. And like you just mentioned, you're also going to put money into products and tech. So tell me what you plan to offer on the product and technology front.
Right. So like I said, first is when we look at self-monitoring and self-management of diabetes, we already have a very effective solution in terms of the cost, connected devices that you plug into the phone, and based on your readings, we're able to carry out proactive intervention. We're going ahead and actually integrating with a host of other devices, not only just in diabetes, but also looking at hypertension and others. And the second key thing around technology is how do we, develop richer evidence through our care programs, and by making the entire staff, the team, virtual medical expert team comprising doctors and coaches, far more effective in providing the right decision support, the right intervention to the right individual at the right time, is only going to be possible when we're able to continue to enhance our technology. And lastly, as we're partnering with others in the healthcare ecosystem, whether these being pharma companies and insurance companies, where they're able to leverage our product and make solutions that can be integrated into their ecosystem. So this is where technology will play a big role as far as the future growth potential of BeatO is concerned.
All right. And you currently have about 15 lakh members on your platform. Take me through how you've helped raise awareness amongst people in tier 2 and beyond cities, and what's the traction you're seeing on that front? How affordable is your product for them?
So this is the most heartening fact of the last 1 year, and where 70% of the people or customers of BeatO actually come from tier 2 cities and beyond. And this is primarily because, this is where the infrastructure is broken and the need is immense. We've been successful in penetrating this audience because we made diabetes education, number one, very simple and effective, and actually in their own language. So it's all vernacular in terms of the service that we're providing. The second is making technology, whether this be our connected devices, extremely simple and affordable to use, including the app. And finally, providing access to excellent medical experts virtually, which otherwise these individuals may not have the ability to get in touch. So I'll give you an example. We've actually launched a nationwide campaign called Aapne Sugar Check Ki Kya, which is a diabetes screening, where we're carrying out diabetes screening camps across the length and breadth of the country in partnership with Lions Club. And, in small places like even Sri Ganganagar in Rajasthan, it's shocking, but when people actually get screened, almost 25-30% of them actually have high sugar levels. And it's really heartening to see when you're even in these smaller towns, when people walk up to you and they turn out to be existing BeatO users, and they've seen so much of improvement, not just in their health, but overall quality of life. And this is basically our life's mission. How do we make sure that we can enter into across the nick and corner of India and ensure that diabetes can be controlled and we can make a positive impact in people's lives.
All right, Gautam, we're completely out of time on the show, but thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's time for us to take a